Hi, everybody. It's Saturday. I hope you're having a good weekend. A couple of weeks ago, I purchased some bowls at a garage sale that I thought would be the perfect size for soup or for oatmeal. Today was the second day in a row that I dumped my oatmeal all across my computer desk as I proceeded to eat breakfast. It was a terrible mess. Yesterday it was just an accident, or so I thought. Today I did the same thing, put the oatmeal in the bowl, brought it into the computer room, put it on the table, and boom, all over the desk. Again, another big mess. And it made me ponder all morning. How many times do I do the same thing over and over until I learn the consequences? When I was a child, I had my mouth washed out with soap multiple times before I learned that I really ought not to call my brother a bad name. There were some occasions, I admit, where I went and got the soap, brought it to my mother because it was worth it, just to call him a name because I was that angry. Perhaps you know what I'm talking about. How many times have you eaten so much at a meal, think Thanksgiving for instance, and you walk away from the table so stuffed that your stomach hurts and you're miserable? Or you've had too many drinks and you wake up the next morning with a hangover or a bad headache? Or you just do something over and over and you know that it's going to make you miserable, but you do it anyway. When we're trying to change our lives, we have to learn to recognize those things that are going to trip us up or those things that are going to cause us to stumble. And so, for instance, if you know that when you go to the mall, you absolutely cannot pass by the hot pretzel lady without buying a pretzel, what should you do about it? How about walking on the other side of the aisle or taking another place? If you know that you cannot hang out with a certain group of friends or go to a particular party where there's going to be an excessive amount of drinking because you're going to give in, don't go. Think of a different plan. Do something different. If we want to truly change our lives, we have to avoid those situations, at least until we're strong enough to resist them. We have to avoid those situations that's going to cause us to have the same consequences. If you're going to eat too much at a particular place or a particular restaurant, make alternative plans. If you're going to be around people that you know causes you to be negative and irritable and gossip or swear too much or whatever kind of behavior you're trying to change, don't hang around them. Find new friends, as difficult as it is. If you've given up smoking and you're doing really well, and you know that the smell of smoke just overwhelms you with a temptation and desire, don't walk out to the parking lot or stand by the door where your friends are smoking if it's going to be a problem. Now, you're going to get strong enough at some point to be able to be around that and to get back into the mainstream of things and to resist that temptation. But even now, 2.5 years into my journey, I find it very, very difficult to be around a situation where they're passing around those little hot dogs wrapped in dough. My goodness, it's a weakness for me. And whenever my family brings them out and they start passing them around the campfire, I have to get up and go someplace else or go home because I know that that's a weakness. And I know that if I eat one, then I'm going to eat two and I'm going to eat three. And that's the consequences. We have to learn. Might take us 2 or 3 times, but we have to learn not to keep doing the same behavior over and over and over because it's not going to lead into different consequences. 2 times in a row, I learned my lesson that those bowls are not the perfect size for oatmeal. They're not the best bowls for anything. They're top heavy and they're going to tip over. That's why they were in the garage sale. And so I encourage you as you go through the weekend to recognize those stumbling blocks, Recognize those situations of temptations, those places that are going to bring out the desires to go off plan or to do things you really don't want to do. Avoid them, find an alternative. Stay strong, stay motivated, find a different bowl for heaven's sakes, and have a great day. Don't you give up. You can and you will change your life. I promise.